Morning all. All right, so we're going to talk about the LA Kings. Season preview time. The LA Kings, the first of the California teams to get back to relevance, get back into the playoffs. And now the question becomes, can they do it again? By the channel's vote, you guys seem to think that they can. And I don't see any reason to argue with that. This is virtually the same roster. Very little difference between the one that finished last season and the one starting this year. Dustin Brown retires. It was time for him to retire anyways. And so that's a move that somebody else will jump into that role, I'm sure. Troy Stetcher leaves after being a rental. And really, there's nothing major in terms of exits from the LA Kings. This is a team that has stayed pretty much all together. Plus, they've added Kevin Fiala. And for new faces, I threw Alex Turcotte in there. There's a lot of rookies that could make their debut. There's a lot of guys who played a handful of games for them last year who could play a heck of a lot more. The LA Kings have a lot of room here. Now, they don't have a ton of cap space, which is a bit of a surprise. They have $1,513,333, but they don't have any kind of cap situation they have to worry about right now. And in terms of their expiring contracts this year, they don't really have to worry about a big unrestricted free agent this coming summer, anything like that. Really, Rob Blake has done a good job of building this team up. They look pretty good. Their tandem in net, this could be one of those deciding factors as to whether or not the Kings are still in the playoffs or not. Cal Peterson had a rough year. He absolutely did. I'm a Peterson fan, but last year was not fantastic by his standards. So Jonathan Quick stepped up. Jonathan Quick helped them get into the playoffs, and then he was pretty darn good for them in the playoffs as well. So they need Quick to stay at that level, or they need Peterson to bounce back, one or the other. If Quick reverts to some of the numbers he had over, I'll say, the past 3 years. He's had a couple of rough years here and there. But if Quick's numbers come down and if Peterson can't bounce back, that could be a problem for the LA Kings, a team that has struggled with scoring, thus the addition of Kevin Fiala in exchange for a first-round pick and prospect and whatnot. Faber was the one that ends up going to the Minnesota Wild in that one. So when you look at them down the middle, this is a team that you like down the middle. First, you got Anze Kopitar. Then you get Philippe Danault. And I don't think anybody expected Danault to get the kind of goals and points that he did this past year for LA. It's absolutely ridiculous. Quentin Byfield, who had a tough year, but again, Byfield, a big forward. Sometimes it takes the big forwards a longer period of time to really break through and get to that level of scoring as expected when they're drafted. And then you got Blake Lizotte. So down the middle, they're pretty solid. And again, if Byfield can take that next step, they're really pretty far ahead in that category. Now, their last 5 seasons, 5 years ago, 2017, 2018, they finished 45, 29, and 8. They were 17th in goals for and first in goals against. So it was quite the drop that they experienced in 2018, 2019, where they finished 31, 42, and 9. They were 30th in goals for and 22nd in goals against. So just right off the cliff, 2019, 2020. 29, 35, and 6 record, 30th in goals for and 14th in goals against. 2020, 2021 record, 21, 28, and 7, 27th in goals for, 19th in goals against. So their goals against staying right around mid for 2019, 2020, and the following season. But this past year, they really came back. 2021, 2022, they finished 44, 27, and 11. They were 20th in goals for, which is not fantastic, but it's better than 30th. And they were 8th in goals against. So the Kings, defending well, good goaltending, and that helps to get them back into the playoff hunt. Their best month this past season, in February, they were 6-2-0. Their worst month was actually the one to start the season, 3-5-1 in October. So they were an exception to that rule of needing a good start to make it to the playoffs. They had a rough start, still made it to the playoffs. I remember early in the season, Kings fans saying Todd McLellan needs to go. McLellan's still here. They made the playoffs. He's going to have a pretty long leash, I would think, this coming season. So the channel vote, the way that it went, 15% on the Hockey Guy channel had the LA Kings finishing first or second. On the Entertainment Guy channel, 20%. So more optimistic on the Hockey Guy vote side of things. Third or fourth place, 61% on the Hockey Guy channel, 57% on the Entertainment Guy channel. And then you get into where it's almost identical. Fifth or sixth is 19% on the main channel, 18% on the second channel. And both channels voted 5% for 7th or 8th for LA, which tells me 5% of the vote either misvoted, troll voted, or just hates the Kings. right? So it's got to be one of those three things. Your Stanley Cup odds, they're seen as a plus 3,300. So if you put down 100 on them, you can win 3,300 if they win the Stanley Cup. Again, the cap space, $1.5 million. They've got some room there that if they wanted to make other moves, they probably could. I don't think that's going to happen. Again, it feels like there's a tremendous amount of carryover from last year. They understand what they did. They want to keep things together and keep building up. Their top four defensemen, Mikey Anderson. I have been a strong supporter of his. Drew Doughty, Alex Edler, Matt Roy, although Sean Durzi, who is a right defenseman, is going to get a lot of ice time, may end up with more ice time than Edler by the end of the season, just for Durzi playing a lot of special teams, right? Breakthrough candidates, I went with Arthur Kaliev as well as Quentin Byfield, because, again, while this might be a make-or-break year for Byfield, there are others I could have put up here. Again, there's a lot of young players. For Kupari's another one, for example. There are a lot of good young players, but I just think Byfield, all the tools are there, and it's a matter of him putting it together at the NHL level. Some players don't, and I know there are people who are assuming that it's not going to happen with Byfield, but some players do get that put together by year 3 or year 4 in their NHL career. So the leaders this past season in goals, Adrian Kempe had quite the career year with 35 goals. We'll see how he follows that up this year. Danault with 27. Who expected Philippe Danault to get 27 goals in his first year with the Kings? That's an absolutely remarkable total for a defensive-minded center. And honestly, if he can follow that up with another year like that, he's definitely going to get some more Selke consideration. On the assists front, Kopitar had 48 to lead the team. Trevor Moore, who had an excellent season as well, 31 assists for Moore, and don't sleep on Grundstrom. If Grundstrom can play during the regular season this coming year, the way he did in the playoffs this past spring, he's going to have a good year. So expiring contracts, not a lot here in terms of UFAs. Trevor Moore, who I assume they will find a way to re-sign. Brendan Lemieux, who they let go to the market, and then they brought him back. Alex Edler, same thing, goes to market, comes back, rejoins the Kings. And Jonathan Quick. Or no, I think Edler signed before the market opened. Jonathan Quick, of course, his contract's been talked about as not being great and all this, and maybe they should trade it. And here we are, it's the last year of the contract, and I haven't heard anybody talking about trading Quick all summer. That's how remarkable the trade rumors can be. But yeah, so one thing that stands out to me with the LA Kings from this past year is their special teams numbers. Power play, 16.1%. That's just not good enough. Their penalty kill, 76.7%, also not good enough. That's a total of 92.8. Remember, 100 is right, average should be 100. You should have between your power play and your penalty kill, it should add up to 100. There's 92.8. So it's not a great number, but the addition of Kevin Fiala, maybe that helps the power play. It should help the goal scoring. If their goal scoring comes up and if they don't sacrifice any goals against in the process, yeah, that vote where they could end up first or second, that 15% of the Hockey Channel, 20% of the Entertainment Guy channel, may end up being right. I could see it where the LA Kings could jump in. Vegas, definitely there's some issues there. Vancouver, there's a lot of pieces coming together there, or maybe not. For Calgary, how are they going to handle the loss of Tkachuk and Gaudreau? Is there going to be a learning curve with Huberdeau with the team where he's learning his chemistry part? Maybe they get off to a slow start. So it may come down to the Oilers and the Kings for the top of the division. We shall see, or at the very least, maybe early in the season, it's the Kings and the Oilers, and then other teams join the fray after. But I do think the Pacific is now a division that's maybe slightly underrated. I keep seeing, the division's garbage. I don't think that it is, but I understand why people see it that way. That being said, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Can the LA Kings get back to the playoffs this year? My guess is yes, but I've talked about it before. There is a recency bias when it comes to who does or doesn't make the playoffs in predictions. So we'll see how things turn out. According to the channel, 76% on one channel and 77% on the other have the LA Kings in the top 4. That means they have an excellent chance at the Stanley Cup, according to the vote. We'll see how it turns out. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through, you just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.